What's up guys, Aristotle here, welcome to Rainbow Six Siege How To. Today's map is all about basically looking at house. We're going to be doing a map video all on house, basically everything you need to know about attacking it and then defending it. So first of all, like I said, we're going to look at attack. I'm going to pick Thermite for this stage here, and we're going to just go from construction site. We're going to go from the front of the house, and we're just going to show you all the awesome drone spots, all the different places you can hide your drones, and then I'm going to show you all the camera spots, and as we go through I'll show you everything. So first of all, we're in the prep phase. Now I'm going to show you this room by room where you can hide your drone, little cheeky spots, and then I'm going to show you guys sort of other bits and pieces as we go. So we'll start off here in the main dining room. Best places to hide your drone are on top of here, and then on top of the other cupboard as well. It gives you full coverage of the room, and if you're playing a drone, most players will not be looking up here. They're usually all looking at the ground for your drones, so as long as you're not repeatedly spotting, you should actually be fine. Now, this room is actually a fairly difficult one. You've got obviously under here, behind the couch, on top of the TV is a viable option, but again, you want to be careful not to spot too often. If you actually face the wall, there's a red light on your camera that doesn't show up as often, so that's something to remember. I'm going to go straight back into my drone. So that's a good tip, is just look at the wall. You're actually safer as the drone, as it's not so obvious. Now, there is a cheekier spot here, which actually requires you to go up here and break this. Now, obviously, that's not quiet, that's loud. You're going to have to be quick. You line it up, and you jump, and you can get right onto the top of this wardrobe, or like cupboard rather, and you can see straight into the entire living room. Back off a little bit so they don't all shoot you, and you're actually fairly well covered here to like literally look at the entire room. You can also jump across to here and get a gun, another look at the room, and I'm not sure, but pretty sure you can't jump over there. So that's your two main spots, maybe 3 or 4 you can use in here. Now we're going to go downstairs. We're going to do the garage. So the weight room. Now, this is a difficult one because there aren't many good spots to hide. Sometimes hiding back here works, but again, it's a very iffy one. Getting under here, again, if you're hiding next to the bag, you might get away with it every so often. And then for the really cheeky drone spot, if you manage it, you go straight over here, straight on here, across, and jump to the balls. You can actually hide in the gap, and as long as they're not right down here in front of you, you're actually fairly well hidden from everywhere else. But again, it's one of those spots where if you're going to get it, you've got to be really lucky, and you've just got to be really, really cheeky about it. Okay, next we're going to move on to the main garage. Actually, no, we're not. We're going to move into the washing room. So, in here, there are a couple of spots. They're all fairly normal. The first one is up here. If you can avoid the boxes, it's probably best, because it means you're not making as much like mess. And you get a full view of the room from here. The other good option for this room is to jump on these boxes and jump up here. Now this again is a fairly useful spot, means that you can see the entire room from where you are, and you've got a really good view of everything that you need to see. Okay, now we're in the main garage. Now of course this room, it's got its spots, there are many. One of them is up here on top of this bit. Again, it's a fairly good spot, you won't be seen. The next is in the boat. You can actually jump from the ground, as I'm going to show you now. So if you get up, all you got to do is look up, jump, and you're in. But unfortunately, you can't really see much of the room from here, so you probably want to watch out for that. And the other viable option is actually to come in straight through here, whip right around, and jump up here. Obviously, get the jump right. It takes a bit of practice, and then jump up again, and you're on top of here. Again, it's a fairly good view. You can be seen though. You can jump across to this box. And you've got, again, it's another good view of the room, but they do tend to see you. And my final location for this room is to jump to these tyres, and then up on the side here. And you've actually got an awesome view of the garage, where nobody really looks for you, nobody can really see you. And as long as you don't repeatedly spot, you're not going to be found, and, you know, the enemy aren't going to know you're there. Okay, so here we are in the kids' bedroom. This is actually where the bomb is on this map. So, we go up here, and then up here. This is an awesome little spot to use. It's actually really well hidden. You can back off on the boxes and spot. For your team, you can point out enemies. It's actually really good, and if you get shot at, you can sort of just drop into the box very casually, and then jump back out again as need be. So it's a fairly useful spot, good for hiding, good for spotting, and players never look up here ever. No matter how many times I've played this map, I've never been spotted up here. So, probably going to get spotted a bit more often now, but it's a fairly useful spot for you guys. Now we're going to move on to the master bedroom. Now this has got a fairly awesome spot. If you come to the back, you can actually jump all the way up here, and all the way up here, quite quickly, and you get a really good view of the room. You can also jump across if you look up, and actually hit jump. I wonder if you can actually just... No, you've got to do it from the roof, so you've got to basically be up here first, and then once you're up here, you can get up. But as long as you look up and jump, you make it across. And again, this is a really good spot, as you can see into the entire room. And enemies don't look up here. And then sometimes, if you're lucky and really cheeky, you can hide on the fan, which is a kind of awesome little spot that a lot of players don't know about, and you never get spotted up here ever. Like, literally no one ever looks at the fans. So it's a fairly cheeky little spot to use if you want to use it. Okay, and that's all the cameras pretty much. The other room that's left, that's a main room for consideration, is construction. Personally, I never really use drones in here. Sometimes on those metal girders you do alright. Sometimes back here behind this you go in sideways, you can slot in, but it does sometimes rubber band you out. So it's either or really in that case. You get lucky, you don't. And the other place in here is actually these shelves. And unfortunately they're a bit more difficult to get into the top one, but you can get in the bottom one. You sort of hide quite well, although players tend to spot you here. And if you're really cheeky, you can do it on any of the maps. On the bomb, you can just hide on the bomb. It's like within the bomb. Players sometimes look here obviously to see it, but you know, sometimes you get away with it. So as long as you're not repeatedly spotting in these drone spots, you'll get away with them. They'll work really well, and you'll actually be a really good drone position. So now we're going to move on to camera spots. On the external of this house, there are 3, I believe it is. The first one, as you come from the construction yard, is to the right, up here. And that's that one taken out. The next, as we sweep left around the building, it's near the side street. So if you're spawning in, like on side street or from the waterway, you take out this one here. And that's that sorted. Alright guys, so now I'm going to show you all the camera spots from within the house. So as we enter through the front door, we're just going to quickly knock on the front door. Obviously you're not going to be doing this in a game, you're going to be a lot more careful. You come in the main hallway, top left, up here, there's a camera. That covers the entire upstairs, so there is no more worry now for the top stairs. If we come into the kitchen, straight across, there is one just here. If we go right downstairs, come straight down the stairs, and the camera is here. It's actually on the west side of the fitness room. If we go into the main garage back here, there are no cameras in this bit here, but if you keep going around, there is one dead centre of the garage. And then we're going to go upstairs, and I'm pretty sure that's all of them. And now we're going to jump on to some breaching tactics for some of the rooms, so we're going to just quickly show you that as we go. And, you know, hopefully you'll learn a couple of things for how to breach certain rooms and how you might succeed. Okay guys, so here we are, we're in the, this is the living room. Now, the best way I found to breach this is if you've got like 3 players, you want Ash character out here on the stairs facing in, obviously with her breaching round ready, because I find if you try and plant, the bottom of these doors is always open, so players tend to shoot through and hit your feet. So what you want to be doing is you want to be rappelling up here, having one person place a breaching charge on this window, like so, and then you come across here to the other side of the building. Now there are 3 entry points on this side. There's this one, and this one. I never use this door window here, as you have to rappel into it. You can use it, but personally I prefer this one, as it gives you a lot more flexibility to move. Now if you are a single player, this method also works quite well if you've got breaching charges on both sets. First, hope that these windows are castled. If they're not castled, obviously they can shoot your thermite off, but what you want to do, detonate your castle, detonate your breach, and it splits their view. It splits the enemy's view between both windows, and if you've got obviously teammates, you can all burst in at once and just spray into the room and get kills. Again, if you've got a 4th player, there is a potential to have him here to get ready to breach through, but again, if you try and plant, you might get your feet shredded. So that's this room. Now the next one I want to talk about quickly is the dining room. Now this one is really simple to attack. All you need to do is get a player up here on the outside this window facing in, because that means they've got a cover of this sort of section down here where they can see all that goes on down here. You then tend to get another player who goes through the living room, and you can peek this door, obviously if it's opened. If it's not open, you want to bash it, get back as quick as you can and start poking through. You get a fairly good spray pattern in here. None of this is bulletproof, it's all penetrable, so you can spray wherever they are, as long as you don't hit the hostage, because that's the only reason you're going to be actually attacking this location, who is usually dead centre there. So that's something to remember to watch out for. And again, if you actually knock that out, you can crawl up and get quite close behind the counter in the middle. And then obviously, if you want to finally move up, you can do it from this side as well. You can knock through the windows and obviously attack from this side. And again, to do that, what you want to be doing is on the external here, you want this window here, and you want to probably knock it and move away and see if someone shoots. And then what I'd suggest is moving across and knocking this window, and then sort of peeking as and per which window you prefer to attack. Okay guys, so we're back again. Right, so now I'm going to show you guys a breach on garage. Now, Obviously 9 times out of 10 this entire section is barricaded, so you're going to have a thermite, but what I suggest is placing a thermite right here, dead centre. You then pull your team back. Sometimes you'll put like a team just here through the shrub, teammate behind here on the crane, sort of shooting through it, you get teammate behind the car. Sometimes you'll even pop a teammate over here, like just to shoot through the door on the right if they see anything, and then you breach. Now you can also, while you're breaching that, then start planting on this door over here and try and start a two-pronged attack, which is sometimes preferable as it means you can then push in and obviously you've got 2 avenues. If you happen to push in here and there are no enemies, you can also then start to move through to the fitness room through here, again thermite or breach charge as is appropriate. But realistically, if you've got the diffuser in this room and there are no more enemies, you should never open up this wall. You should just plant the diffuser and cover the one door they can enter from, and then if they go outside, obviously you'll be warned and you can cover the entrance that you've just made. Now obviously, like I said, if you're doing the fitness room, you've breached into here, what you want to do is sort of park one on this side of the car, one on this side, detonate, and then sort of do a quick sweep. You move through, you sweep your corners, as they like to hide down there. Down there, obviously, you're not going to walk across the front, you have to go round, and you sweep the corners. Again, down here is a nice little spot for enemies to hide, and that tends to be it. If you're lucky, there might be someone in here who's sort of like poking through, getting ready for that sort of an attack. But again, if you want to flank round with another player here, it's more than easy enough. So that's this room. We then have the laundry room. Now this room's a little bit more difficult. Obviously, if you've come through that door, you've got an easy breach on here with a thermite, as long as you've got a thatcher to back him up. Or, again, the same as on the same here, this side you can breach from the fitness room or from the main hallway, and also from here in the kitchen. So you've got many avenues of entry, and as long as you're working as a team, this room is fairly easy to breach. You can also knock through this little wall here, as long as they've not barricaded it, and you get a fairly good sightline into the room from the side, which is actually something a lot of players don't know about and don't ever use. So it's always worth a little cheeky try, and again, if you're really good, I will actually try and find the spot for you guys perfect. If you want a really cheeky spot in, you come around here on this side, and as long as you're lined up with this line here, you want to sort of go just below halfway, sort of like mid-height crouch, and you could sort of punch through, and you're actually shooting through the shelf as you just saw on the other side. It's actually a really good method for shooting into this room, and it's not as obvious either, so you've got like a fairly good spray for like the lower shoulders, lower torso if they're crouching down, and the legs if they're not. Now a breach on this section up here is fairly normal for players. Now what I like to do with this game and with my teammates is we usually place a Glaz out here on this treehouse. He then gets a shot through this window up here, and it covers the entire upper section of here, allows him to shoot through into the master bedroom. You get a good clearance for most of the main parts, and like I say, it's a fairly good clearance method. If we then come into construction, this is the first room that I'd tell you to breach. If you're going to do it properly, there are a couple of little sneaky tricks you can do. Now, attacking that window there is fairly simple. What you want to be doing is coming around here to this side of the building, rappelling up, and peeking the corner and just sort of peeking in and out, peeking in and out. Obviously once you've detonated it, you can tap fire this corner here because there's normally an enemy placed there, and you've got a fairly good breach going on. If you then place a teammate on the far window, on this side, again, it's a fairly good strategy. You can breach in, and also if you breach from the back stairs as well, that's another option. You can hit the enemy from like 3 sides, and again you've got that cluster sort of ability to hit them all from like lots of different directions and hurt them. Now if you've got the master bedroom or the kids bedroom, out here on this windowsill you can sort of see through. You can poke the master bedroom, you can poke the kids bedroom just slightly from the doors, but again it's a fairly good strategy to hide. Oh dear, what have I done there? I have broken the camera. Oh, the room is slanty, this is painful. Okay, right, so now we're going to talk about attacking a kid's bedroom. Now, if you've got an ash, this wall here, perfect. It's really good to be like remote breached as long as there's nothing reinforcing it, and you can shoot through straight into the kid's bedroom quite easily. You can also breach these walls as normal, or you can go round to the master bedroom and breach through this wall and get from the sides. Or, you know, you can go outside from the windows, and actually there's a really cheeky spot on the windows that I want to show you guys. Okay, so kid's bedroom. You're talking about breaching it. Now, this is really cheeky. But if you come down here, change your stance, lean across, you can actually just lean, like, and you just peek this room. You get a fairly good shot across, and you're mostly covered by the building, so only parts of you are going to peek out. and it's actually a really good spot for just spraying in there. And as long as an enemy doesn't come out here or out one of the windows down here, you should be relatively safe. Now, the master bedroom. Now, this is one that I love to sort of breach because there's so many entry points. First of all, you have the window here, which is really easy just to stick a breaching charge, a fuse charge, whatever you want, and you can just hit it from there. You can also hit it from this side, from the kids' bedroom, which opens up the little wardrobe. And again, if you do those simultaneously, if you imagine I was an attacker, I'd sort of go, okay, shit, there's a fuse there. That gets breached, and suddenly you're back here, and the room feels a lot smaller as you're forced into this sort of kill zone here. If you're doing that, you can also have a simultaneous player breaching in here. Again, same principle, you're just cutting off that kill zone even smaller, so they have to back to the far end of the room. Now, if you're using Ash, you can go downstairs and hit through this wooden floor quite easily. You can shoot it, and you can hit the players. If you're playing this map, someone's mentioned to me previously about Ash and blocking off trapdoors. Seriously, if you're a defender, guys, just don't stand on trapdoors. There's no reason for it. You're going to get hit. So those are the breach room points for this room. Again, it's a fairly simple one, you know. You've got your spray points. The bathroom, again, is another simple one. As long as you come up these stairs, you can just literally plant anywhere up here and then detonate, and you've got a full shot across from this side of the room. You can open up, obviously, little windows here to shoot through as you see fit, and you get a fairly good coverage of everything you need to see. Okay, guys, so let's imagine now that I'm defending. I'm on the defending team. Obviously, I'm not, but, you know, we're going to suspend our disbelief, and we're going to believe for a second. If you want to defend this room, the best way I'd suggest doing it is obviously barricading here, barricading here. Now, first, placement in this room, obviously this is subject to your own opinion, but I'd have somebody here who can do sort of like a quick sort of flick back and forth. It covers the entire room, every entry point. So it's a fairly good point. Also, same principle goes here. You've got a fairly good covering point for the entire room with a quick flick. Mainly here's your main issue because players might jump in and not quite go into your view, but realistically that shouldn't be a problem. Your next spot I'd suggest, if you're going to place anyone else in here, is down here. Again, it sort of covers most of the entry points, and if you lie down, you're not an easy target. And, you know, it's a fairly useful spot. Sometimes I've seen players hide down here, but I wouldn't recommend it. You're kind of easy to hit with like a breaching charge or something, and it's going to cause you damage, and it's going to be a relatively quick kill. But those are the placement spots I use in this room. Sometimes maybe hide behind this sofa, but again, you hit from behind quite easily and from the side. So I'd say use the 3 spots that I've mentioned, and maybe spread people out in the room. Have someone lying down maybe in here, sort of checking the bottoms of the doors, sort of there, and then just have a couple of roamers on this main dining room. You've got to watch out for fuse charges, because fuse can actually place here, right here at the end. Fuse can place right here, and it'll actually hit you in the dining room. So you want to watch out for that. Now we're going to move on to the dining room. Now this room is fairly easy to defend. All you need is someone placed down here in the corner, covers there and across there. Same principle on this side, covers all across here. You just want to watch the back. Barricade these 2 walls, have somebody here who can cover this window and this trapdoor if you're not reinforcing them, which you should be. And then maybe have someone in the office here. I'd suggest right here in the back corner, so you can sort of peek across and lean and cover the entire thing, but also get back into cover quite quickly, and you've got an entire table to cover you on the right hand side. If you're here, you've sort of got no cover except for this little section of table. Now, in this room, you have to remember, it is all destructible. This is destructible, as in, like, not like it can be destroyed, but the bullets can penetrate. As you see, well, you can't see, unfortunately, but they do penetrate this, trust me, I have tried it. There you go. There's a quick demonstration. Yeah, they do penetrate this, and they do it on the side as well, so you need to be careful of that. Now, I'm going to move on to looking at downstairs. Fitness room, fairly easy. Down here, stick a shield up here, and you should be sorted. Sometimes, if you think the enemy aren't going to attack from here, maybe put a castle door, a mute charge, and then peek this wall, and obviously there, because you've got the stairs coming down, and also the main entrance. You also want to probably place reinforcements all along here, or with mute or bandit. One along here, mute or bandit. Door here, castle door, mute or bandit. And up here, castle door, mute or bandit. And then they have to blow through, so you know they're going to have to cause an explosion to get in, so you're going to know where they're coming from. We're going to look at the laundry room. Again, really easy. Barricade all 3, mute or bandit. Barricade all 2, mute or bandit. Get behind here, barricade this from the other side. So then there's no way that can be an attack point. And then all you've got to do is have somebody here, which behind this, which is bulletproof, is spraying across. Someone's normally down here, can cover that way. Also has to watch out for the trapdoor though. But if you've reinforced it, obviously you're going to get a warning that Thermite's coming. Sometimes I'll find I'll stick someone down here, covers that door, also here, and again if they knock through here, because you can't reinforce it, you're actually not in the firing line, whereas here if you're looking the wrong way you're just going to get mowed in the back, so that's something to watch out for. Now we've got garage. Now this is one that I don't like defending personally, but if you're going to do it, I sometimes post someone here, because not only does it give me a coverage of this section here in case they try and plant, but it also means that if this blows, I've got someone here right this side they're not going to expect who can just spray across. Next, I'd place somebody lying down here under the boat, sort of peeks through the bottom and sprays. It's a fairly good point, as long as you've got a good and accurate shot. I also suggest possibly putting someone behind the car here, and again, that's so you can lean across both sides and cover either or, as is determined by where they attack. So, the only other thing you've got to watch out for in here is obviously fuse charges. As I've shown in my fuse video, you can actually fuse most of this ceiling quite easily, so you want to be watching out for that. Now, we're going to talk about construction. Fairly easy one to do. Workshop, not construction, I apologise. Down here in the corner. Bulletproof from this side. Good coverage of these two walls. You can also place someone way over here. Reinforce, mute, bandit. Good coverage across the walls. And again, you probably want to barricade as many of these walls up. You can, if you have a nitro cell, blow open this wall here and move across to here. Again, this is a good sort of drop point. If they're above you, you can sort of spray, kill them all if they run through the front door. But again, you're sort of exposing yourself to this window, so you probably want to hide all the way in this corner. But you can still get shot, so it's a risk-reward strategy right there. Bathroom, if you're going to hide in here to cover the master bedroom, I'd suggest down here, reinforce, reinforce. At least these two walls, minimum, so then you've got coverage, and that way also from behind the toilet you can also pop and shoot across. But then move across to the master bedroom, as I said, you've got a good defensive point here, right in the corner, you've got a good defensive point here, again sort of to the side, and one right here across to spray across the window. Never, ever place anyone towards this central point here, because Glaz can shoot through here, even through a castle door, and kill you, and you're really, really easy to get. You could also post somebody here if you really wanted. It sort of has a bit of a coverage of the main workshop area and also of the bathroom, but I rarely ever see anyone go here, so it's sort of either or. And the other option is you can also reinforce this and obviously hide in here and cover the window. You can also make a little hole just here. Obviously this is going to be a big hole, but the principle is the same. You make a little hole and you can actually poke workshop and the main hall quite easily. So that's a fairly good point to attack from. And then kid's bedroom. Now here I'd suggest reinforcing every wall you can reinforce. All of these are all reinforceable. And then having someone down here behind a shield maybe. Someone right here in the corner. But again, you sort of need to lie down and watch out for Glaz and also like shots coming from the windows. And sometimes you'll even see players open up this wall here, as you're about to see. Obviously you want to do it with a nitro cell. Barricade this one with a castle door, and then you have a good coverage from a separate room that you can sort of shoot through, or you could just poke a hole with a shotgun and shoot through it as you see fit. So that's pretty much all the defensive locations on this map. I'm going to show you a couple little extra tricks. Now, if you've got them in the basement, what you can do is actually place a breaching charge, whatever you want, on this trapdoor upstairs and detonate it. Once it's detonated, you can actually then throw grenades into the basement really, really easily. As you can see, the basement is just down here, and you lob grenades. The reason you want to do this is because if you stood here, you get shot in the feet. So, that's pretty much all I have for tips. Also, you can use here for fusing, but again, that's in my fuse video, so you probably want to watch that if you want any more tips on that. I believe that's everything, guys. So, we're going to hop to the end, and I'll see you in just a second. Okay guys, and that's the house tutorial. So hopefully you've enjoyed it. Obviously if you have, hit that like button below, give me some comments, and let me know what you thought of the video. Obviously I only sort of showed you guys the basics of what the attacking and defending do, where to set up, obviously where to attack from, and you want to kind of vary your strategies round to round, because players will start to pick up on what you're doing and sort of try and figure out ways to counteract it, and they'll probably deal with you and you'll probably get killed a lot quicker. So what I remember guys is that with this sort of guide here, you do also want to add your own stuff, maybe as a team or as a group or just as friends. Try and figure out your own ideas of where you need to go, where you need to stand, and just mix it up a bit. Have some roamers here and there. Just, like I say, confuse the enemy team, because if you do the same thing over and over, it will stop working and they will just kill you. But hopefully, like I said, you found some use out of this video. Obviously, there are some tricks I haven't shown you and some drone stuff I haven't shown you. I might pop that in another video, guys, if you show enough interest for it. But for now, we're just going to keep rolling on with the map videos for the rest of the week, or the next 10 days rather. So hopefully you guys enjoy, and if you want to see that sort of stuff, stick around, hit that subscribe button to let you guys know as soon as the videos are live, and I'll see you in the next one.